Really enjoyed this book. Hi guys, this is Jean from Happy Indulgence. So today I'm going to be ranting about A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J Maas. So before I go into it, there's going to be a lot of spoilers about the book because obviously I can't separate my ranting about it with non-spoilery thoughts. Hopefully if you watch the rest of this video, you've already read this book or you're not keen on reading this book so you don't care to be spoiled. So before I go into my rant, just remember that these are my own thoughts and opinions. This is nothing against the author personally. And also, these are just my own thoughts and what I didn't enjoy about the book. There's completely nothing against you if you enjoyed the book personally. I have a lot of friends who really enjoyed it, but this is just what I thought about the book. Please don't be offended if you keep watching this video because I am really going into why I did not like this book. So first of all, I really wasn't a fan of A Court of Mist and Fury. Basically, there's this thing that Sarah J Maas does. If she favors one character over another, she does this thing where she completely makes the character have a 180 personality change and they just don't resemble anything like they were in the previous books. For example, it happened with Kale in the Throne of Glass series, it happened with Tamlin in the Court of Thorns and Roses, and now it seems to have happened to a lot of characters in this book, including Rhys. And so that's probably the pinnacle of where I want to start my review. Basically, in the previous two books, I really wasn't a fan of Rhys. Basically, he's given a free pass to all the horribly abusive and controlling behavior that he's exhibited in the past. So at the end of A Court of Mist and Fury, basically he's given a way out for all the behavior that he's exhibited in the past for being really mean to Feyre, which I thought wasn't on. So it's like, just because he's your mate means that he's able to do whatever he wants because it was all for his own good. And that I think is a bit of a cop-out, and the way that he acts in A Court of Wings and Ruin is just really frustrating because over and over again, he's like, I'm nothing like Tamlin, I'm nothing like the controlling male that you've gone through. Feyre, you can do anything you want. You know, I won't stand in your way. You're my high lady. You're so great. Like, you can do absolutely anything and I won't say anything. So of course, there's one point in the book when Feyre makes like the most stupidest decision ever that could result in her dying, being kidnapped, being tortured. And of course, so she goes towards the cauldron and the cauldron takes hold of her. She can't escape it. And basically, when Rhys finds out, obviously because he spent the whole book going on about how, how equal he is and how nice he is, he doesn't even give her a slap on the wrist. He just gives her a little talking to and that's that. So obviously you have to bring in another one of the characters who will actually tell her what she's doing wrong. And that, I believe, is actually love, because if a character does something stupid that could result in them getting hurt, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing if you can't tell them about it. He sends a bad guy in. Thank God for more, guys. Thank God. So basically, I just thought his character was like completely over the top, and like he's painted as the perfect male as well, which really infuriates me because like every time him and Rhys get together, there's like explosive fireworks and they have the most amazing sex ever and it's like earth shattering, and gosh, like, can you give me a break? Like, how many cheesy sex scenes can there be in this book? Oh my gosh, it's like, how much growling and purring and like wing stroking can there be? Like, oh my gosh, it's pretty much like badly written smut at this stage. And if anyone tries to tell you that this series is YA, it's completely not YA. I mean, oh my gosh, like, it's like whenever a character ship gets together and Sarah J Maas is finally happy with it, Feyre and Rhys, like, they turned into the most boring characters ever. I mean, I already wasn't a fan of Rhys and I already wasn't a fan of Feyre, but like all they seem to do is have sex and, oh, we're the power couple, we're so powerful, we're so strong. I found them completely boring and I skipped over most of the sex scenes because I found reading them a bit grotesque. I mean, like, especially like the wing stroking, like I don't want to know about that. I don't know about you guys, maybe you guys enjoy it, but I really don't. And there's one thing about this series that really annoys me. Basically, I feel like it's a bit anti-feminist. Basically, you're surrounded by strong, possessive male characters who are really alpha males who like to tell Feyre and all the other women what they should do, what they should be saying, how they should be behaving, what they should be wearing, like Rhys does. And apparently that's totally fine. Can we just talk about the mating bond? Like, the mating bond is just an excuse for these possessive alpha males just to lay claim over females that they don't even know. And I mean, what really annoyed me is the mating bond is they keep on talking about it. And I'm from Australia, so when all you read is, hey mate, you're my mate. Oh, you're my mate too. Like, it sounds a bit bogan. Am I wrong? So apparently this mating bond is like a super rare connection that you find once in a lifetime. Then how is it that every single one of the inner circle has a mate that happens to be with each other? Like, oh my gosh, it's that rare, huh? I don't know, just the whole concept of a mating bond, that there's only that one person who is meant for you, and even that one person, like, if they don't know you, if they don't care for you, if they're fallen in love with someone else, apparently just because you are in a mating bond, that means that that mating bond is more superior to someone that you know and love. And I find that really problematic. For example, with Lucien and Elaine, oh my gosh guys, that infuriated me so much. All Feyre does in the book when she brings back Lucien from the spring court is shove him in front of Elaine and go, oh, you know, you're her mate, you better deal with her. And Elaine, like, she's pretty much weak, she's broken, she's depressed, she doesn't speak. You know, she's also frail and not eating. Like, if that was my sister, I would be really concerned. And the last thing I would do is shove like an alpha male in front of her and go, here, deal with it. And Elaine doesn't even want to know Lucien. Like, she doesn't even care about Lucien. And this like stranger who apparently is mated with her, she just wants to go back home and get married to the guy that she's actually in love with. But no, apparently this mating bond is far superior, and it's like these mates are placed like so far above like normal human beings and normal human relationships that develop properly in the Fae world is superior to everything else, and that's what I find really problematic as well. I just thought that Feyre was such a shit sister, and it's like every single female is painted in some sort of problematic way. I mean, Elaine, it's impossible not to be really annoyed at her behavior because she's just like weak and meek, and if it wasn't for her power, then she would be completely useless. And then you've got Nesta. I know lots of people hate Nesta, and it's not hard to see why. I mean, she's been through hell and back, and she's a complete bitch. I mean, you can see why, because she doesn't want anyone getting close to her. She's the sister that actually cares about her other sister, unlike Feyre, and she actually wants to protect her younger sister, so that makes sense. And she doesn't like getting close to like these suddenly like possessive males who apparently reign over her, and she thinks it's ridiculous. For me, I thought Nesta was a complete badass. I really liked her because it's kind of nice to have like a character like that that actually cares about her own family, that actually grieves in a really realistic way. She puts up barriers. But oh my gosh, let's not even talk about where her character goes in A Court of Frost and Starlight. I'll save that for another review. Okay, so you've got those three characters, and apparently out of all of them, Feyre's the one who's absolutely perfect because of the way that she's embraced this new role that she has. She's super powerful, she's a high lady now. She's pursued by like all these handsome Fae men, and she can do no wrong. I've been really annoyed at Feyre for 3 books, now going on 4 books, and trust me, nothing has changed there. Feyre is like the biggest Mary Sue / special snowflake. She can seriously do or say anything, and she can do no wrong. I mean, she easily picks up flying, she easily picks up like flight battle, her powers, she's the high lady of the night court, and she will take any instance to rub that in your face, and just how easy it is for her to pick things up, and just how easy it is for her to order people around because she's the high lady, guys. Oh my gosh, like The start of A Court of Wings of Ruin annoyed me so much, especially when she was in the Spring Court. And she just keeps on going on about how easy it is for her to defeat these like poor Spring Court people. Apparently it's really easy for her to just make a bunch of Fae disappear because she's so powerful, she's so conniving. Far out. I hate Feyre, guys. I don't know why I keep on putting myself through this torture, but hey, come on. I mean, it's all for entertainment, right? Every one of Sarah J Maas's series end up being first and foremost a romance and lastly a fantasy series. So of course, like, romance is the be-all and the end-all of this series. And if you're not paired up with someone, then that means you might as well not exist. I mean, there's like a really offensive scene in here that I read, and this book got a lot of backlash beforehand for being ace-phobic, but when I read it, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm more concerned about it being like problematic. So let me just read it out to you. Dagden and Brenna had listened to her fawning with enough boredom that I was starting to wonder if the two of them perhaps preferred no one's company but each other's. In whatever unholy capacity, not a blink of interest toward the beauty who often made males and females stop to gape. Perhaps any sort of physical passion had long ago been drained away, alongside their souls. Guys, just because you don't appreciate someone for their beauty or their apparent beauty does not mean you are soulless. Like, that's pretty much what the paragraph says. Just because these twins don't appreciate Ianthe, or whatever her name is, because she's so beautiful means they're soulless. How does that even make sense? Oh my gosh. Like, this series puts such a big emphasis on everyone's physical attractiveness that because you're physically attractive, it couldn't possibly mean that there's something wrong with you. And if someone doesn't appreciate it, it couldn't possibly mean that you're normal. I just can't believe it. Like, that annoys me so much. The other thing that really annoyed me is, I mean, out of every single one of Sarah J Maas's books, there's like this amount of diversity. I mean, yes, there's no gap there. She attempts to add in diversity to this book, and oh boy, is it insulting. So there's bisexual rep in here. There's two bisexual characters. One is Hallion, who is promiscuous, and obviously because he's bisexual, it's because he likes to sleep with women and men. That's what he comes and does. Like, he comes and hits on anything with two legs. How friggin' annoying is that? Of course, the only reason why Moore couldn't possibly be interested in Asriel is because she's bisexual. I mean, does that mean, like, isn't that the most insulting reason why? I mean, Feyre makes it her problem that Moore's not interested in Asriel, so she confronts her and causes a big fuss, and then Moore has to break down and explain to her about her own identity that she was trying to keep secret in the first place. First of all, why is it Feyre's problem why Moore doesn't go for Asriel? Second of all, I mean, is it not okay to just not be interested in someone just because they like you? Like, you couldn't possibly refuse them unless you were bisexual. It was used like as a plot twist as well. I just couldn't believe it. It's so insulting the way that this diversity has been put in and like it's used as a plot twist. I just could not believe it. And aside from that, every single one of the other characters, like, they have to be paired off, you know? How many like white, heteronormative, non-diverse relationships can there be in these books? It's just like, I've just had enough of these like alpha males. Like it's like the notion that you can't possibly be happy or end up happy if you're not paired off with someone. Like, you're somehow incomplete, and that's like the perfect notion that these books offer. Like, how insulting is that? Like, it just boggles my mind. Not to mention when Moore actually hooks up with Hallion just so she can remind Asriel why she's not interested. What's the problem with actually communicating with him and being honest? So instead she would rather hurt him and make it believe that she likes someone else, that she doesn't care for his feelings. Dude, the guy has been pining away for centuries over you. At least, like, be honest and be a good person. Like, far out, guys. Like, I really like Moore. She's one of my favorite characters in the series, but just like this this whole book just made me so pissed off at it, especially with the whole like plot twist about her being bisexual. Far out. And just the way how she decides to have a one-night stand with Hellion, and then all of a sudden she's like really sad that it had to happen that way. Oh my gosh, guys, like, can we just like stop shaming people for like having one-night stands and stuff like that? Like, it was just so annoying. Like, I couldn't believe it. Oh my gosh, guys, so I talked a bit about the book being anti-feminist before. So like, the only powerful female in here is pretty much Amren and Feyre. And what do they have in common? They're two completely powerful females who are like the High Lady. Amren's like the most powerful demoness there ever was. And unless you're a super powerful, strong, beautiful human being that's paired off with someone else, you can't be a powerful female. When you compare the amount of like powerful females compared to the amount of powerful males, the males can be emotional, they can be reckless, they can be possessive, they can make stupid decisions, they can disappear for half the book, but still, they can do no wrong. But then when you look at people like Elaine, like Nesta, like Moore, it's like they make decisions that make them human, but all of a sudden, there's something about them that makes the character not as appealing. And that's the thing that really annoyed me, because it perpetrates that you can only be portrayed as a strong, powerful female if you are literally a strong, powerful female. And that is not the case. In fact, like, that is the Feyre's whole character arc, which really annoyed me in this series, because like it perpetrates that whole ideal of perfection and of being like so physically beautiful that you end up happily ever after and you have the perfect ending with the perfect guy who treats you better. Like, far out. Nothing is that perfect. Speaking of things being that perfect, that ending, I knew no one was going to die at the end of the book, and that really frustrated me, because as I was reading, I'm like, I'm not invested in anything that happens to them. There's a huge build up with, oh my gosh guys, this is the war, like let me thank each and every one of you guys for what you've contributed, and then no one dies. I mean, how is that going to be exciting? Like, you have like the biggest Fey war ever and then no one dies. Or they get resurrected, because obviously you need to create a spin-off series. This is probably like the least of it. The book was so long and draggy and doesn't really get to that actual point until 60% of the way in. And then you have a war where no one dies. That's great, guys. Not to mention Tamlin. I don't know about you guys, but I actually liked Tamlin in A Court of Thorns and Roses. Obviously in the second book he's portrayed like as an evil person because of the way he traps Feyre, and he's really possessive and controlling. I mean, what sort of Fey male isn't possessive and controlling in this series? But let's go on, okay? And he's suddenly the biggest sad sack of shit ever. Like, he's so mopey, there isn't possibly anything he could do. He's just such a dickhead just because Feyre's rejected him. Like, I don't know about you guys, but yuck. Like, it just gave me the heebie-jeebies just because of like the way he was still pining over Feyre, and like, yuck. Like, I mean, even I don't like Tamlin anymore, and even I think Rhys is alright just because of the immense character manipulation. Like, there's absolutely no way you could not like Rhys, and there's absolutely no way that you could like Tamlin. Oh, guys. So, I think that's about it for my rant for A Court of Wings and Ruin. That being said, guys, I did enjoy some of the book. I like the way it was written. I like the setting, and yeah, I think that's about it. So I ended up giving A Court of Wings and Ruin 2 stars, and I've read A Court of Frost and Starlight, and that was even worse. So yes, I'll save that for my next video. So guys, I hope you enjoyed my rant about A Court of Wings and Ruin. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Check out my other videos and subscribe if you want to see more. I want to hear what you guys think. Like, did you enjoy the book? Were there things you agreed or disagreed with in my rant? Let me know in the comments down below. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.